This is the third video in the series of carrying out a literature review for your Sci-Tech MSc dissertation. My name is Leslie English and I'm one of the faculty librarians supporting the Faculty of Science and Technology. So far in the video series we've looked at what a literature review is, how to plan for your literature review, and using library resources such as OneSearch, the library's discovery tool, subject guides and subject databases to carry out your search. This video will explore how to structure a literature review, how to bring your reading into your writing, and how to access further support through the library and learning development teams. So how do you structure a literature review? It may be easier to start with what a literature review isn't. It isn't just a list of what you've read or an annotated bibliography. Don't think you need to include everything you've found on a subject, unless there's very little research in this area. You need to be selective. Which are the most relevant? You may find it useful to look at past reports and dissertations to look at how authors have structured their literature reviews or background sections, or even the literature reviews in journal articles. On this graphic you can see there are a number of ways to structure it, and one of the most common approaches is a thematic structure, where you group research into key themes. If you go for a chronological approach, you may want to group together and discuss sources according to when they were published, which can be useful if you want to highlight changes and developments in research fields over time. If you structure methodologically, you may want to focus on the different methods used to study the topic. The funnel model is a popular structure, starting broad and narrowing in. So you may start this section discussing the broad research area, why it's of interest, and then narrowing it down gradually to focus on the specific area that your research is addressing. Once you have a sense of the funnel, it's a good idea to come up with the subheadings which will structure the literature review. So this section of the video briefly shares some information on bringing reading into your writing effectively, and the work of others does need to be integrated into your own work. It shouldn't read as a series of disconnected voices of other researchers, and we mentioned this earlier where we list the authors such as Smith says, Jones says, and that can be seen as patchwork writing. So when you refer to another author, you should begin and end in your own voice, and that middle part should consist of a paraphrase or a summary of the source, and the final part is a commentary of the contribution of the writer. So I'm going to share with you some tips for writing a good literature review. Make sure the sources you refer to are relevant. Don't include material just because you read it. Decide which readings should be included in brief and which with detail. Think about the best structure for your review. Look back at how other reviews have been organised and themed. What works best for your topic? Perhaps chronologically, or funnel, for example. You've selected the most relevant material. Now make sure you evaluate, synthesise and integrate it. Make the relationship between the literature and your question implicit. Remember, the details of the research is descriptive, and then analysis is the critical element, and this is where you gain more marks. When synthesising, think about how two studies relate. What does a particular study not do? At this level, you should not be using direct quotes. Make sure you use a citation when paraphrasing, and make sure it's clear to the reader why you've introduced this paper. Also, it's best to avoid secondary referencing where the source is readily available. So, you can see here a list of verbs which you can use in your own work when referring to other sources, and again this can help with voice. I can tell by the words used whether you strongly agree or are not convinced by an author. For example, if I write, Jones alleges, this may suggest to the reader that I am in some doubt about Jones's claims, whereas if I write, Jones proves that gives the reader no doubt that I'm in agreement. Finally, a brilliant resource that can support you with this is the Academic Phrase Bank from the University of Manchester. So just to finish off with some links and contact details for the faculty librarians and the learning developer for the Faculty of Science and Technology. So John and myself are the faculty librarians. You can email us if you've got any quick inquiries, or you can chat with us using Microsoft Teams. You can book appointments with us, so if you've got more in-depth inquiries, you can go onto the library homepage and look for the faculty librarians tile, and from there you'll see a book an appointment link, and we'll send you an invite to an online meeting. Louise Innes is a learning developer for the faculty, and you can again book a consultation with Louise, or you can email for any inquiries, and the email address is up on the screen now. Thanks for listening.